Hello, fabulous Taurus. Welcome to your horoscope for the month of March 2018, looking at life and love. I am your astrologer, Nadiya Shah. Thank you for being here. What an amazing month it is. You remember last month, we only had that one big lunar event. Well, the universe has got to make it up, which means this month, we start right out of the gate with a full moon. And at the end of the month, we have a full moon as well. We start and end on full moons. In the middle, we have got a new moon. So do expect an active month, and I'm excited to tell you about it all. Let's take it one at a time. Let's start with the full moon. I'm really excited about this for you. Now, this full moon is standing across the sky from Neptune, but it is also speaking in supreme harmony with Saturn. And it is happening in a particularly romantic part of your sky. So it does look like as you're starting the month, there's a certain hopeful energy, a dreamy energy, if you will, an energy of possibility and expectation, but at the same time knowing that you've got to ground this energy as well. And so if you are someone who is open to meeting someone new, I want you to be a little bit careful around alcohol, I'm going to say, if you are so inclined, or anything that would kind of put you in another space, because it seems like there's that little bit of a moment where you seem to allow yourself to alter consciousness a little bit, and you're enjoying yourself, you're still grounded, but it can feel a little bit like you have to bring yourself back down to earth. And so if you are out and enjoying your life and having fun, just be a little bit careful about going way too much into the clouds. But for all that, this does suggest some very flirty energy very well could be there. And ultimately, it is energy that'll help you to feel more connected to things about yourself that you really like. Like they'll likely come forward in a flirtatious moment as we start this month. For those of you who are in an established bond, this energy is very heart-oriented energy. So there's a strong focus here on what it is that you really want and what it is that the heart really wants. And there may be a little bit of having to look at where are your expectations reasonable, where are they not. Now, ultimately, this is an exploration that's going to be really good. It's going to help to ensure the longevity of your bond. It's almost as if I'm seeing you are able to feel that much stronger a commitment with your partner as you see them, not only for who it is that you hope they would be and what their potential may be, but rather you're able to see them as they are today, as human and their nitty gritty, and you're able to embrace it. So there is that need to look at the expectation and look at the reality and find a greater sense of bonding through that process. Now, elsewhere in life, right? Let's move on and talk about that new moon, because we've got a new moon in the middle of the month. Now, this new moon is speaking harmoniously with Pluto and supremely harmoniously with Jupiter. So I do love that. It's also happening very close to Chiron in the sky, hand in hand with Chiron in the sky. Now, Chiron isn't a placement I talk that much about because it is an asteroid, not one of the planets, but it is an important energy. And it speaks to vulnerability, really. It speaks to an awareness of where maybe we need to either work on our own healing or we're ready to be healed more deeply. So here we are, we've got this full moon happening in a part of the sky that has to do with friendship. And it is speaking supremely harmoniously with Jupiter at that. So I see this playing out a few different ways, okay? So one of the ways that this could play out has to do with a friend facilitating an opportunity for you. Now, it could be a work-related opportunity, could even be a love-related opportunity, or an opportunity to connect with new people. And in the process, you are faced with some of the stuff that may need to be healed within you. You may surprise yourself by feeling more vulnerable than you expected to. But ultimately, this is good. When those vulnerabilities rise, you're able to heal them and release them and be that much better for it. And the other part of this is, it could be that a new circle of friends, new types of people are entering your life at this time. It is a new moon in a friendship part of your sky. Could be an invitation to join a particular group, whether it's for an endeavor, some stated cause. However, again, that vulnerability may rise for you, and that is the opportunity to heal that much more deeply and to know that you are worthy of love in all its forms, whether it's romantic love, friendship, whether it's more opportunities, more prosperity, you are worthy of it. And that may very likely be part of the work. It could be that it just really stretches your comfort zone, what new comes in, or the type of new people that come in. And that may be connected to the vulnerability. But remember, there's so much that is so good happening around this new moon that I think you will take what comes and really run with it and excel with it. Now, as we get to the later part of the month, really the end of the month, we are ending on a full moon. And this full moon is an interesting one, I must say. It is happening standing across the sky from a retrograde Mercury at that point. And it is also speaking with this full moon, is also speaking with Mars and Saturn. And this is a type of conversation that astrologers call a T-square. And it is a conversation of some tension, but also real motivation to move beyond and to do really well. And this is some really interesting energy for a few reasons. So one is this part of the sky for you has to do with your workplace. It has to do with the type of work you're doing, your coworkers, your immediate supervisors. And so there's that element to it, the actual day in and day out of what you're doing. And I feel as I look at this that there may be a moment that comes up that makes you feel impulsive or makes you feel like you want to make a change. Maybe if you know, like this isn't surprise energy, okay? So it's not like something's going to come out of nowhere. But if you know that you work with somebody or you interact with somebody who maybe isn't so great with their temper, or maybe isn't necessarily the most easy person to get along with, then some of those issues may be heightened at this time. It could also be that the demand for work, like there's just a lot that needs to get done, and you've got to really bring forward a lot of energy that might not necessarily feel so easy. And the thing is, with this energy, there's also restraint. As much as there is a rise, there is also a need to hold back. And so if it is that, you know, a client or a customer or a coworker is, or an immediate supervisor for that matter, is behaving a certain way, it may not necessarily be that you can just, you know, say what you want to say or say what you really want to say. It may not necessarily be that you can react fully in the moment, but you can react wisely. And that's what I see as the great gift here, is that it gives us that opportunity to react wisely. The other part of this is, though, I must say, because Mercury is going to be retrograde in the sign just before yours, be mindful of saying too much, especially around this full moon as we finish the month, because you know, the reaction you get may be because you say something and you're being totally casual, but you end up being more revealing than you realized, and you reveal actually something that would otherwise be private. So keep that in mind as well around this time. But you know, with just a little bit of care, a little bit of awareness, really consciousness goes such a long way to make things go that much smoother. And the other part of this is just a desire for change is really what it comes down to. Desire to no longer do a particular type of job or no longer do one way of doing things anymore, and instead focus in more on what it is that you would rather be doing. And so that awareness may come up of where there may be some limitation, of where maybe you have to, you know, see a certain project through or see a certain time frame through before you can actually get to doing the work that you desire to do. Now, the other part of this part of the sky has to do with self-care. And so how well have you been taking care of yourself? That is going to show up at this full moon also. So if you have not been taking the best of care of you, then it is possible that this full moon will make you aware of that so that you can empower yourself and think more towards your longer term longevity. The thing is, especially around this full moon, it really is not the time to be, you know, trying out things that are not necessarily established and not necessarily very grounded, especially where it comes to your health. Not to be, you know, really experimental or, you know, doing things. If a lot of people are telling you like that is not something you want to do, that is dangerous to do for your health, then, you know, maybe take a little breather. Sometimes the experimental stuff, it actually works really, really well. It can work even better. Sometimes focusing more on the emotional part of things can actually work a lot better. But this is the kind of energy that says if you can focus more on established ways of doing things, like the core understandings that we have, the traditional, by traditional, I don't necessarily mean traditional in terms of like Eastern medicine or alternative medicines. I mean like Western hospital doctors, things like that. very unlikely that this would come up. But as I look at this, I feel like if you know that you're on a certain medication, you have an epiphany, if you can, right, try to wean yourself off the medication, especially if you know that it is something that you shouldn't be just quitting dramatically. If you come across a type of treatment that really is on the edge, that's where I want you to be a little bit careful, especially right around this full moon. But having said that, what this full moon is great for is making you aware of the finiteness of our physical bodies. Like, ultimately, this body, it changes throughout this life. If you're lucky, you'll have it for a while and it'll go through its changes. And ultimately, it is not something that is meant to be infinite. The part of us that is meant to be infinite is not our bodies. Our bodies are a vehicle that carry the infinite through this life, but ultimately our bodies are finite. And one really great way to use this energy is to appreciate the finiteness of our physical beings and work with it. Understand that there are certain things that you can do to actually make your ride in this vehicle that much smoother. And a lot of things that you can do don't require really going out there, really doing something way out on the edges or doing something way outside the norm. Actually, there are some things that you can do that can actually be with you for a very long time, if not the rest of your life, that can make a huge difference in due time if you are patient with the process. You know, as I like to say, there's no magic pill, there is a magic process. Well, the magic process for you feeling stronger and more stable for the longest time to come, that may reveal itself, but the emphasis certainly is on taking it one step at a time. What I love about this month for you is that there is energy here that is expansive. There's energy here that is lucky. I love this new moon in the middle of the month. I think you are going to love how social you are at that time. But there's also emphasis this month on heart and on spirit and on body as well, making it truly holistic. Well, thank you so much for watching. You can get a video like this every week by logging on to astrofabulous.com or nadiyashah.com. Sign up to be one of my superstars. Superstars get expanded exclusive video scopes each week at astrofabulous.com or nadiyashah.com. Well, thank you so much for watching. It'll be a great month. Enjoy.